there been times where you just were on insane losing streaks and you were just questioning, like, playing poker professionally?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've had, there's so much variance in poker. It's crazy. It's win or lose. There's times where I'm not playing great and I'm winning. There's times where I think I'm playing great and I'm losing. So it is tricky, and that I think it's important to take a break, step back. There's a lot of different stakes you can.
I don't imagine myself having 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah.
They probably outsource most of it, though.
Yeah,
Outsource?
Yeah.
Well, Elon has 10 kids.
He does?
You think he's with them every day? Hell
But
no.
no,
I didn't know he
That's
had 10 kids.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought he had like 6, but that's
Yeah.
even
I
that's
thought
what
he
I'm
had
saying though.
2,
How is
3.
what does
And
he?
Tate has a bunch too.
Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you can do it all.
Wow.
I don't know how they
See?
can do all that.
Welcome to the Digital Social Hour, guys. I'm your host, Sean Kelly. Here with my co-host, Wayne Lewis.
What up?
And our guest today, poker legend, Jeff Gross.
Thank you for having me.
Gross.
How's it going, man?
It's good, man. I'm a little burnt out. I got just had another kid, 2 kids, and I was in the WSOP main event. Went to day 5, got
Over the
knocked
weekend,
out
right?
yesterday. Just got knocked out yesterday. So today's day 6. I got knocked out yesterday, but there's long days, man. You can't really put it into words. It really is grueling. Like it's you play
Ryan
12
Garcia
hours.
was playing in it too, right?
Yes, he made the money as well.
Yeah, I seen him Saturday.
Yeah.
I was actually he was with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went deep, man. Was that the
Yeah.
farthest you ever made it?
I made it further once before, but I got 260th, so out of 10,000. It was
That's
deep.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, you started off at 10,000 left with 260.
Yeah, there's 10,000 people, 10,043 entered, and there was I got 260th. I got knocked
Which
out.
is insane.
Yeah, it's
So
it's deep.
what do you leave with when you
Got
do you leave with anything?
$50,000 for that, but it's $12 million to first, $12.1 million to first. So yeah, a little difference.
Yeah.
But
A little
yeah,
difference.
Yeah, a little different.
And you're
but-
playing 12 hours a day, right?
Yeah, you play 5 2-hour levels. You get a break, dinner break, and 20 minutes every 2 hours. But yeah, it's
Jeez.
tiring. You wake up and then you're excited when you get deep and you don't sleep
Yeah.
good, and it's a process. But
Yeah.
it was nice.
Are there ever any hands that just you have nightmares about when you look back at your career?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I've been heads up for a World Series bracelet before. Got it in a head and lost. So like those are the ones that it's like a Super Bowl for a poker player, and you imagine hitting the upright and to win the Super Bowl. Like it's like these type that you don't know when you're gonna get back. Like that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I got second, and then still I don't have a bracelet. I have 7 final tables, and you do think about hands. There's a famous quote in that you just remember I don't know how it goes, but it's essentially you remember all the bad beats, right? The ones when you get lucky, like even in the main event, I got kings and aces. I had kings.
Yeah.
This was on day after the money hit, but on day 4, and I won. I got lucky, Like I have so many times where I lose with like the aces or I get drawn out, but I forget. It's like the ones where you get lucky, you usually forget. So
Interesting how the brain works that way, right?
Yeah, of course.
What actually got you into poker? Like, what was your first intro to it?
So I played soccer my whole life, played in college, and then high school, a person on the team, Craig Pfister, I remember.
high school?
He brought poker chips, like plastic chips, to the soccer camp, and it was awesome. Like this was 2003. Chris Moneymaker. I don't know if you know poker at all.
Yeah, no,
this
I
guy
don't.
he won.
I know him, yeah.
He won the main, and
went deep
his
this
name's
year.
Moneymaker.
Yeah.
He wins the main event. He beats a professional heads up. It was on ESPN. It was like the first kind of year that it started getting bigger, and then it just like blew up overnight. Like everyone was obsessed with it, and that was right around the time in the movie Rounders too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar.
I've seen Rounders.
So
yeah.
that kind of like the moneymaker effect, someone bringing the chips and playing in camp, and then that happening all at the
fell
same
in
time.
love with it.
Honestly, I love games, board games, video games. So it was when I found this, I was like, wow, you can actually win money. I was like, this is, it's like a Sprite commercial. I don't know if you ever saw this. Like the twist the cap, they're playing a video game.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what'd you win?
Yeah.
And he's winning some free something for Kevin. It's just like, it's nice when you actually can win something for, for playing a game.
So have you ever had a job, or you just been playing poker?
Uh,
that was your job.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I want this to be my job.
Yeah, I played soccer my whole life, so it was nice because I could go online, play cash games, just come in and out, anytime. So
Yeah.
that was sort of, I found that in high school, and that was it. Like I played,
Damn, that's crazy.
yeah, played college soccer at South Carolina, and it was perfect too. Like
Nice.
we'll go to school, play, but then I could go play online for a bit, and then not have to have an actual
Make a little bit of money.
make
for
a
the day.
little couple bucks. And poker has changed a ton. Like back then, 2004, 5, it was like, people were just giving away. It was literally, I didn't know what I was doing, but I
Right.
was free money. Now there's solvers, there's, it's gotten tougher in general, but there's like a huge boom right now where there's like, the numbers are records everywhere. This year, the World Series main event got 10,034. I think the previous record was like 8,700. And the
Are you someone that doesn't have life insurance? Why leave anything up to chance in a worst case scenario? Luckily, Policy Genius makes finding the right policy simple, and their team of licensed experts are on hand to help you through it. Life insurance gives your family a safety net that they can cover expenses with, so they don't have to worry about money while getting back on their feet. I've had friends and family members that have passed away without life insurance. It's definitely left us with financial instabilities. Even if you already have a policy, it may not offer enough protection for your family's needs, and it may not follow you if you leave your job. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius knows how valuable your time is. Their technology makes it easy to compare life insurance quotes from America's top insurance in just a few clicks to find your lowest price. Policy Genius has licensed, award-winning agents who can help you find the best fit for your needs. They work for you, not the insurance companies. They don't have an incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. Policy Genius is for parents, caregivers, and anyone else who has people who depend on them. They simplify the process of getting life insurance so you can protect the people you love. They got thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net. You deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head to policygenius.com/DSH or click the link in the description to get a free life insurance quote and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/DSH.
54 year.
Interested in poker? I personally, I play baccarat.
Okay.
But poker seems like a lot. It just seems like a lot.
Yeah.
It's slow. It's all day.
It's honestly, I think it's the most beautiful game in the world because it's sort of like golf, where you get to, if you go with a couple buddies or a group and you get to know someone, how they handle winning, how they handle losing. Mm-hmm. There's also, it's like a perfect amount of skill and luck where, baccarat, blackjack, roulette, these games are fun. Mm-hmm. The math is the math, right? On roulette, you're losing 5.7% every spin on a 0-0 wheel. If you bet $100, you're losing $5.70. That's just what you lose every time. Now, you might win that day, but that's the math, right? And like poker, you can actually have a significant edge. If you're playing in a home game or you're playing in a spot, you can kind of dictate how much you're risking in what spots, right? You can make tight folds. You can know that if you have top set, you have the best hand, right? You know for sure that you have the best hand, and you can dictate your bet size. And so I think it's a beautiful game. And I was talking to Sean earlier. It's like a lot of my closest friendships are from poker directly or indirectly were contacts that I met from playing. So
because Sean's into it, he throws tournaments here.
I don't even play, but just the networking aspect. I mean, you met guys like Bill Perkins, Michael Phelps from playing poker, right? Yeah,
no, Phelps I met in Windsor, Canada when I was 19. It was like 2006. We met playing and randomly, and we were roommates for 7 years, and that was back in 2006. So, I mean, it's just like Bill Perkins. You mentioned these guys. It's just funny to see people calibrate poker. It's not necessarily win and loss in those games. Like even like you say, you throw these things like whether you lose a little bit playing. Like it is just, it's nice to get to meet people and really see how they. I say it in golf too. Like how do you if I don't know if you golf. It's like it doesn't really matter if you win or lose, but it's nice to see how people people cheat, people do little stuff.
Cheat in golf.
You could like
you
could hit it out, or you're golfing, right? And like you're two different carts, you're not by each other. You could like people do shit like that, or they're gambling. But like it's like in poker too. It's like how, and also in golf, if someone hits a great shot, like are they happy for you? Are they not? You know what I mean? Like it's very similar in poker. Like you take a bad beat, if you see a guy like pounding the table, freaking out, that guy probably doesn't have his stuff together, or maybe things aren't right. So it's nice to kind of see how you handle your success, your wins and losses, yourself personally and others. And obviously I'm biased. I love the game. It's a great game. Sure.
And you got good at reading people from playing the game.
Yeah, I think naturally you put work in and you start understanding that there's this. So again, I don't want to get too deep into like the poker side of things, but it's GTO, right? It's called Game Theory Optimal. Mm-hmm. That is. That means like kind of what the solvers say, what the book says. Like on the board, if the board is a specific board, there actually is a right play. Similar to chess, backgammon, there actually is a best play, right? So like that's
reading the board.
That's So if like exactly, there's a computer programs that will tell you if the board is ace 5-9 with a heart, club, spade versus if it was ace 5-9 heart. Like there is a completely different situation on how much you should bet. If there's $100 in the pot, like the bet sizing is so important. You could bet $20 or you could bet $100. You could bet more than $100. So like the computer will actually, there is a best play in every scenario. So like nowadays, there's a lot of this stuff. You've Jungle Man, I think you've maybe even had on here or talk with him. And like these guys are so good. There's like people that are literally that are savants at the game. But then there's something called exploitative. Like let's say you have a flush draw. And I just know you'll never ever fold any amount in a flush draw, right? I'd want to bet more because exploitatively, I know you'll never fold a flush draw. So why would I bet $20 when I could bet $150 and make you call? You know what I mean? But the book would say bet $34 and this if there's 100 in the pot to get the right price. But I'm going to bet 100 because I know you're not going to fold. So like that is an exploitative play. You're exploiting your opponents, and that's like guys like Negreanu, Hellmuth, some of these bigger names in poker that have been around forever. They're very good at reading people and knowing how to exploit in a given situation what to do. So
you have the book memorized?
Wow. I mean, there's a lot of poker books. I've done, look, I got 2 kids now, do a lot of content. I'm busy, but I'm not. I can't say I'm studying a lot. But it's the top points. It's like golf, man. Well, you see these guys in the PGA Tour. Like what separates them? They're shooting, like they're so good, right? There might be college golfers or guys on other tours that are like really good. They're like scratch golfers, but the difference between scratch golf and like being a pro PGA Tour, I mean, that's like, it's a huge difference to get those little bit difference. Same thing in poker. Like I'm a good poker player, but am I, the guys that are playing the 100Ks, 250Ks, the best in the world, like they know every spot. They know the bet sizings, the board textures. They've run simulations on everything.
You said board textures.
Yeah, like a rainbow board is 3 different suits. If it's ace of heart, king of spades, 10 of diamonds, that's a rainbow. Monotone would be all 3 the same. Diamond, diamond, diamond. So like there's all these different. It's poker. I don't want to scare people away, but it's crazy. Backgammon got solved, right? There's these programs that tell you the best play now. Yeah. So backgammon used to be big tournaments around the world. People would travel around. It's just gotten a lot less. There's not as much money, and actually, like Gus Hansen, Phil Locke, some of these guys that used to travel around, play backgammon tours, like now because of that programs and stuff solved, it got much less exciting, and it sort of dried up. But poker is a boom though. There's so many people playing. You're asking why? I think the reason why is content creators out here. There's so many people doing podcasts. There's people doing YouTube channels, Twitch streamers, and it's gotten, I think it makes it a lot more accessible. Miss Botez, I don't know if you're familiar with her.
I saw her make a good run.
She was at my table when she busted. She took a sick beat. So she had kings all in to king jack offsuit, and it came ace like 7-4. So I had to go queen 10 perfect. It's like 3%, and it queen 10 right there. Yeah, that was rough. And she got knocked out of my table in the money, but she's a huge personality, and now she plays chess, but now she likes poker. She's streaming Hustler live at the bike, Poker Go. There's all this content people are seeing, and creators, Ninja, and these guys are playing, and they're firing, and it's great. Poker's growing very fast.
And you got in on the content side early. You were one of the first people to do that.
Yeah, 2015 got into Twitch. I saw Jason Somerville, who was a very successful player, got into it, and I love talking, and I have a podcast myself, and I just was like, you know what, let me do this, because instead of playing on a poker site and just playing poker, like you could play and people watch you and you get to engage. So it sort of just naturally made sense to me, and I started doing it and did it for a lot of years in a row. So I loved it.
How did the poker mindset help you in business in general and get you established? How do you feel like you benefited from it?
Definitely in business, I think you have to be able to dissociate results oriented, right? You want to make a good bet, you want to make a good decision, and you can't be results oriented. And I think that's ultimately the best thing that poker does is, like crypto, for example, same thing. Crypto's crazy. It goes up and down like this, but you got to be able to detach. Like you can't get emotional. Tolerance. Yeah, you got to know, hey, look, I made a bet, a company. I like the people. I like the owner. I like the founders, and I'm gonna make a bet size on it. And it doesn't always work out, and that could be a lot of factors. Happens, right? You invest in some businesses, and that timing is so important, and there's a lot of luck. But I think that I am able to separate results, to not be results oriented. Like I'm okay with what happens, and I think that's really, people freak out. They put money in stock market, they put money in business, and something doesn't work out, and you freak out on someone, or like you blame people, or you're upset. I just feel like I'm really able to not be results oriented and make a decision and then be okay with whatever happens.
Nice.
You keep your emotions separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to, of course.
No
That's
emotion,
tilt.
actually.
Yeah, try not to. We're all guilty of it. In poker, there's something called tilt.
Yeah,
That's what they call it. There used to be a sight full tilt. Everyone has tilt in life. Like you could get tilted right now. You know, you get in a like you run into a car, you get in a little accident, or you know your parents, something happens. Like we all get tilt to some degree. The best poker players are able to wipe off a bad beat, to shake it off and not be like that. And it's like life too, man. Think about, you know, a girlfriend or your wife or your friend, something happens, right? And it's like, and you can get like really tilted, right?
Absolutely.
Or you can, you know, you're able to just sort of take a breath and relax. And that's very important, I think, again, in life and in poker. So
yeah. You just had your first exit, man. Congrats. I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, that was nice. Speaking of investments, like I've done a bunch of, you know, I call it very similar to poker tournaments. You might play a $100 tournament and win it. You might play the 10,000 main event and win it. You never know which one is going to be. So it's different check sizes, different investments, and it was nice to actually hit one, to actually see a wire come in and, like, you know, work, because it's hard. I'm sure you know. In investing, it's not something that, it's a celebration when you get an exit. So that was very cool.
Yeah, I haven't had any yet. Most of my
that was my
investments-
first. Yeah, it was my first. I mean, a few have gone to zero. A lot are pending, but like it was cool. That was a company, Playmaker. They own sports on Instagram and do a lot of content. I think Better Collective is who bought them, I believe. And
so you got it in pre-IPO?
Yeah. I think I came in. It sold for 54. I got in around 3.5. Where I forget where the.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I forget where exactly what.
How
round
much
I
you make
came in.
on it?
It was it made a couple bucks, not crazy, not like game over stuff, but it was a great deal, and it was a good team, and same thing, like it was just kind of nice networking, you know, that great group of guys.
I still remember going to your house in Miami like 5 years ago, and you told me that story about you got paid out in crypto once on a tournament.
Yeah, so the biggest break I ever got was America's Card Room. It was December 2016, $500 buy-in. It was actually crazy because it was my longest Twitch stream ever. So poker generally starts at like noon, depending what time zone you're in, and maybe you'll play like 10, 12 hours if you were to like win a tournament or go deep. But I was in Brazil, my wife's Brazilian, and I started a tournament at 4. There was a 3-hour time zone in December gap. So it was like a 1 o'clock start. Or no, I'm sorry, I started at 4. It was like 7 p.m. Brazil time. I had started playing in Brazil at 9 in the morning, and this tournament was 4 p.m. Eastern, so 7 Brazilian. And then I ended up winning the tournament. I streamed from 9 a.m. till 9 a.m. the next day. 25 hours I streamed on Twitch, and then I took it down for $141K from $500, but they pay in crypto. So Bitcoin was like $700 a coin in 2016 December. So they got paid in, but I mean, obviously I didn't keep all that.
Wait. So you won 124,000?
141
off of $500.
Right, but the real
real
kicker
was you got paid in crypto,
which was 700 a coin, and so that was whatever 141 divided by 700. It's a lot of coins.
So he made more just holding it.
Yeah,
but I didn't just like keep it all in Bitcoin, but that was sort of my like forced introduction to Bitcoin. I was like, oh, what is this? How does it work? And got in a fund. Yeah. And like, that was the year 2017 where everything couldn't miss. Like everything was just like, doesn't matter what you had, Bitcoin. Coin, this coin, it would just go up. But yeah, that was like again, that's like another very those type of things, like fortunate sort of random thing, and you don't know which tournament you're gonna win or how it's gonna go. And that was fun though. 25-hour stream on Twitch, that was crazy too.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you stay mentally locked in for that long? Like
a lot of coffee. My wife's parents are coffee farmers, and it was nice. Like we had a lot of coffee down there for that.
Yeah, because I know in chess you wouldn't think this, but you burn like 1,000 calories an hour playing
chess.
Yeah.
Just playing chess?
Yeah, so I'm assuming poker is similar with all the brain activity.
Maybe, yeah, sure. I've never heard that stat, but that sounds
crazy.
Good. Yeah.
That's why a lot of those chess players are pretty skinny. Like you never see a fat chess player.
You really don't see too many fat poker players either.
It's there's been a health kick in the last, I'd say, 10 years in poker. I've noticed because there is a lot of sitting around, and I would say there's now people have gotten a lot more health conscious in the industry, but there's definitely some heavy poker players too.
Oh, there are.
Yeah, but it's
He's not
a
gonna
mix.
Name drop them.
Yeah, it's a good mix. Yeah.
And then how do you avoid the tilt? Because that's something a lot of amateurs struggle with.
I just, it's about, I always like to say it's not about what happens, how you react to what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's easier said than done, but I just, I realize it's a disadvantage. Like if you see someone at a table tilting or looking upset, they kind of maybe you go after them a little more, and they just, again, I think it's just a disadvantage. So it's something like actively working on it. We all tilt. I tilt, but much less I'd like to think than a lot of others. So I just try to remember it's a new situation, right? If you take a bad beat, that happened. Now it's a new hand. So now, okay, I had 100,000 chips. Now I got 40,000. So now I have 30 big blinds. I don't have 100 big blinds anymore. You have to be able to quickly reset, adjust, and do your best from that point on. So yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot of top poker professionals, but I think that's the biggest difference between amateurs and pros. And again, A game, B game, C game. You can have a plan. You go play, pick up basketball. Hey, today I'm gonna pass a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play good defense or whatever. And then someone elbows you in the mouth. The next thing you're ready to just go crazy. And your whole plan shifts. So I think it's important to try to stay grounded. And again, the biggest thing in private poker games too is like a lot of the guys that I would call recreationals, their A game is like pretty good. Like fundamentally, like, okay, I know I shouldn't open Jack 10 offsuit under the gun, but like again, they lose a pot, they take a bad beat. Next thing you know, like, they're down 20 grand. Yeah, now it's Jack. I'm not opening even Jack 10. I'm opening Jack 5 suited, and I'm calling 3 bets and playing bad. So I think that's like people really in general, they have a hard time to be able to their C games are so much worse. You know what I mean? They play A games, but they can drop down very quickly.
I feel that.
Who would you say like your toughest opponent was that like frustrated you, like this good?
Man, there's so many good players, but I know Antonio Esfandiari, who's one of my closest friends. He won the $18 million one drop in 2000 $1 million buy-in. He's just one of those guys, again, like exploitative versus GTO. He's just tough. Like you just feel like he knows what you have. He's got the bull. Like he does all the tricks and like kind of gets in your head, and he's very tough. And he's also a guy like in friendships, right?
And he's your best friend.
He's one of my best friends, but he wants blood. Like he wants to check raise. He wants to show you a bluff, and that's something that he's got that kind of killer mentality and wants to punish. So yeah, he's tough.
Yeah, that's tough to balance because when I hoop with my friends, I kind of don't play as aggressive. Are you like that in poker?
Yeah, you know what? Listen, you want to talk about check raise your grandma and go at for no friends at the poker table, but I definitely I do feel I am a little more. I'm not gonna soft play. I'm not gonna not go for it, but I'm also just not gonna go out of my way.
Right.
Like there's spots where like I have ace 5 suited. You should 3-bet, but maybe just flat. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely. I would say I'm not as cutthroat. You know what I mean? I don't go out of my way to try to like punish my friends, and some people do. And hey, listen, it's not right or wrong. Again, it is fair. It's like it's all fair at the poker table, but I'd say I'm a little less aggressive. Yeah.
Have there been times where you just were on insane losing streaks and you were just questioning, like, playing poker professionally?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've had, there's so much variance in poker. It's crazy. You could be a world-class player. There's 95 events at the World Series this year. I mean, you could be the best player in the world and have a losing World Series. You could play a lot of events and not do well. So for sure, I've gone through patches, and it's hard not to be results oriented, right? Like if you go play 10 cash games and you lose 8 of them, you could play great, and that's possible you could lose. So that it's very tricky to be honest with yourself, right? Because it's win or lose. There's times where I'm not playing great and I'm winning. There's times I think I'm playing great and I'm losing. So it is tricky, and that I think it's important to take a break, step back. There's a lot of different stakes you can play, right? You can buy in 10K buy-ins, 5K buy-ins, 25K. There's 100Ks. Like when you're hot, feeling good, press, and when you're not, like it's important to sort of take a look back, step back, and really understand: am I playing well? Right. Am I running bad? Right. And be honest. Like everyone wants to say they got bad beat. Oh, I got unlucky, but even like when I busted the main event, like I think I could play better, right? For sure. It's 5 days. There were spots where I should have maybe pulled the trigger, or the bet wasn't right, or I made a mistake, and it's just easy to say, oh, I got unlucky, and it's just hard to be honest with yourself. Really, that's the hardest part in poker. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, because there's so much strategy to it. Like you said, so many different variables. It's like what spots are you messing up in?
For sure. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to get.
Are you studying film after your sessions?
No, I'm not. I mean, look, I got 2 kids. I got the podcast. I do YouTube content. I'm like
You're semi-retired at this point.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't play as much anymore, honestly. I love the game, but it's a lot of other passions, and
Right.
you know, it's again, I'm not playing every day. If I
Yeah.
was, I need to be studying more. But I play
Right.
sort of more home private games when I do play, which
Yeah.
isn't a lot. And then I love to come out to the World Series, and I'm an ambassador for GG Poker, which is the spot. I don't know if you see the World Series. That's like
I saw that. Yeah.
that's like on all the
Is
tables.
GG?
Poker GG. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think I've
GG
seen-
Poker.
I've
So
seen it before,
so like 4 years ago, Poker Stars had, I believe, like 65% of the market share. GG had 6.
Mhm.
Now GG has like 65 and Stars has like 30. So they've
Wow.
like 10x. They're the biggest by far.
Wow.
Best software, best tournaments, best guarantees. They just put on like a 200 million guarantee month series online. I do a weekly show for them on YouTube called GG Millions. It's a 10K buy-in on Sunday, and then it plays down to the final table. And then on every Tuesday, I do the final table commentary. So that's like my
That's sick.
set role with them. And then, yeah, man, just content, poker podcasts, and had a son 3 months ago, second
Nice.
one, and
Congrats,
that's
man.
it's changed a lot. You guys have kids?
I don't
or-
have any kids
No.
yet.
I want one soon. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm not
You're
gonna
how old
lie.
are you?
34.
Okay, 36. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm thinking like around 30.
it changes, man. It's great, but it's like that. I always actually wonder how you see people like super successful, have like 4 or 5 kids. I just don't know how they can like.
I don't imagine myself having 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah.
They probably outsource most of it though.
Yeah,
Outsource?
Yeah,
Well, Elon has 10 kids.
Oh, he does?
You think he's with them every day? Hell
But
no.
no,
I didn't know he had 10 kids.
yeah, that's crazy. I thought he had like 6, but that's
Yeah.
even
I
that's
thought
what
he
I'm
had
saying though.
2,
How is
3.
he? How can you tell me he's a present and like great father, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's saving the world, doing 10 different.
Elon has 10 kids.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what does
And
he?
Tate has a bunch too.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you can do it all.
Wow.
I don't know how they
See,
can do
you
all that
learn every
and
day.
be there. But
There's a balance. I think you like being more hands-on and you spend quality time with them.
yeah, you try to, but it just seems tricky, right? I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm learning as I go, but it's also I think the period of life you're in. You know, I'm 36, kind of like in my like I've been pushing and want to keep going, and it's just that's why I think as a man we have time, right? If we're 40, 42, 44, it's like
as a
you're not-
man, I mean, Robert De Niro just had another one at 70. So,
That's
yeah.
too late though, because you want to enjoy it too.
I mean, who knows how long he's? I mean, that's his legacy, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he's too much thinking about how long he's gonna be here. I
That's
just
true.
think
Yeah.
Just enjoy. His girlfriend's 28.
What?
Hey, yeah,
Oh,
He's 70. She's 28.
yeah. That's all right. That's that's different. I get it. Waiting's okay.
What are you supposed to have a baby by a 70-year-old woman?
That
Like,
no, you're right. But I'm just saying that you get my point. It's like you have same thing. You do content, you got your podcast,
Yeah.
you got 100 different things going. It is once you do, it's just like a whole different.
yeah.
it's
We
a
go
whole
months
different
without talking to each other because
Yeah.
we're both just so
I mean that's the wild part. Like it's you have your buddies right now, you have your routine, and then next thing you know, it's like it's completely different. Like
Yeah.
you start hanging out with people around you that have kids, or they go to school, and like it's just interesting to see. Bill wrote that book Die With Zero, and
Yeah.
it talks a lot about that, about your different parts of life where it's like you're not going to go hella skiing when you're 65, right? There's
Right.
certain things you got to do at the time in your life, and also you can't take the money with you. It's like you want to if you have kids, you want to give them something. It doesn't make sense if you're 85 to give your 60-year-old $1 million if you have that, right? You know what I mean? Like you want to give
Yeah.
in their 30s, 40s, you want to give stuff that
Mhm.
that is useful and
Valuable,
makes
yeah.
sense then. So yeah.
Now, I've heard people in their 30s and 40s have a midlife crisis. Have you experienced anything like
They
that?
do?
I've heard. I don't know.
Midlife crisis. I don't know.
I
I'm
think
not.
that's like 50.
Yeah, I think it-
mostly for men though. I don't think men have
Men,
that.
right? Mainly men.
We do?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I've had, luckily, knock on wood somewhere. I don't know. I haven't felt the midlife crisis, but I definitely feel with kids, it gets a bit overwhelming. It's just like a bit like you want to, as a man, you want to help, you want to be present, but you also need to provide, you want to
Provide,
earn, you
yeah.
want to work, you want to build your stuff, and it's not easy to find that
Balance
mix.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because I want one, but I don't ever think about the sacrifice I'll have to make.
Boy,
for
I
it.
mean, you gotta choose your regrets.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, there's cost to opportunity,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when you're not having kids, right, you regret. Like when you don't have kids, you regret not having them at a certain age, but you may have this success. So it's just the cost of opportunity.
Yeah,
where
it's always greener on the other side too.
Right.
Like, oh, do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a
Your
wife?
wife,
Do you
are
have,
you
are you single? There's
Yeah.
like, all right, you got your buddies that are single, partying, traveling, a golf trip,
What do you? Yeah.
bachelor party, this
You gotta
stuff, and then it's
choose
like,
your
oh, I
regrets.
gotta, I'm with, it's hard,
Yeah.
man, but you
You
gotta exactly.
You gotta choose your regrets.
No, that's facts.
So
I can't go out with my single friends anymore.
right. If
Yeah,
you,
that's-
you
I
actually
had to give
can.
that up.
I mean,
You can't, no, but you
can.
can,
It's
but
just
it's not, it's
discipline.
just not like an everyday thing.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, once in a while, or it's just hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going with my buddies tonight, and I know exactly what you're saying. It's just, it's different. It's just different. It's not like you're just not hanging out all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I
belong.
belong there, you know?
Well, no, I mean, I just feel like obviously in life, like again, you got to choose your regrets. So at some point, you're supposed to enjoy it because you said, I mean, we all have a clock. I mean, so it's like, what are you going to choose to enjoy? Because you're going to live and then you're going to regret not going out. And then you're going to want to go out now.
Yeah.
So trust me, everything that you're not doing will eventually be knocking at your door like, hey, it's time for you to start doing this.
I met my wife at
Yeah.
Burning Man when I
Wow.
was 27, and I was single from like 20 to 27. But so I had a good run, like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was out, I was partying, traveling, doing all that.
Yeah.
And I do think that is, it is
have to-
important to have that because
have
I've
to.
got these people that have got 18, 19, and they're with someone, and then
get
they
married.
get married and all that. Like, it's not saying it can't work, and that's great,
Mhm.
but then then you may start wondering,
You
wow, I
wonder-
never got to
I
really
wonder
like
what this
party
concert's
or do
like.
anything.
Right.
And
Wonder what
so
it's
I
like,
do
yeah.
see that happen a bit where I've had friends that have been that they've hit that point and they
And
get
I
kind of
think-
like
Yeah.
stuck.
That is the midlife crisis,
What?
the regrets.
Yeah.
Because you're not enjoying your life in your 20s and your 30s, and then you get to 40 something, and now you want to start to experience these things that you didn't experience. So it knocks at your door. So again, it's all about choosing your regrets.
Yeah.
I think that you should kind of get everything out of the way, experience it, so you're desensitized and you don't really too much care about none of the stuff no more because you experienced it already.
Yeah.
But again, everybody's both.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the other thing. You meet the love of your life. You meet someone and you got to be with them. It's like you can't.
Yeah,
you
but
can't-
sometimes the love of your life can be just as fun as the friends.
for sure.
Your girlfriend can be just as fun as
Absolutely.
your friends.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen guys like, yo, your girlfriend's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Like she's out with the boy. You
Yeah.
don't even feel her.
It's true.
Then there's some girlfriends that are like bosses. Like, no, he can't go.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, you
Well,
can't.
yeah, that. But and you're 20.
26.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, man, you're young. But you've been. How long have you been?
5 years. But I had a year or two of that phase where I was partying every weekend.
Okay.
And I got it out of
College,
my
right?
I got out over it quick. Yeah, college.
College, yeah.
Honestly, like sophomore year of college, I was like, I don't even want to drink anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, you figure. I mean, again,
always
teach
hated
his own.
that.
Not saying
Yeah.
it can't work or be great. I just think that is it's important to understand that at least make a decision and understand like
Yeah.
what you make a conscious choice on
Yeah.
that. But yeah,
Jeff, what's next for you, man?
going to Brazil from here. Gonna be there for a few weeks, and then I'm
Nice.
yeah. My wife's Brazilian, so it's nice. It's a nice. It's like farmland, man. Just out in the middle of nowhere. Enjoy to disconnect, and then go to London for Triton. They got these like high roller poker series. I do commentary and interviewing for that, and
Nice.
then podcast, man. Also, I love that you guys have a studio. I do a lot of podcasts. I've done more of the on the call stuff. I do want to get set up and make it a little more professional production, have the live feel to that, and then I mean, man, I'm just been nonstop. I love investing, but I think I mentioned you Skyfi. So I've
Yeah,
been helping with
Skyfi,
that.
yeah.
Bill Perkins started that satellite imagery where you can sort of you're able to purchase photos and it's available to anyone, right? So it's like there's a business side of it as well for seeing overhead shots, and you got to check it out. Skyfi.com. It's very, very cool. That I'm helping with, and then Hybrid, which got the hat on. That's sort of like a more solver GTO sort of friendly version though, because like the PO solver stuff, right, where you got to like plug in hands, it's very tedious. So I'm like, hey, you want to get good at poker?
Right.
You're not going to want to go. I don't want to do it, and I play professionally. It's a lot of work, but this is more. It'll basically give you hand examples. You play. And then you get to learn visually because it'll give you a game tree. So it'll say like, oh, you don't play this spot well. You basically play hands, you make a choice, and then based on that, it does a game tree, and it'll say, okay, your big blind defense, you don't know what you're doing here. You're absolutely wrong, and then it'll just give you those examples to work on. So it's like a really AI study. Tailored to someone who's like a recreational or beginner that can learn advanced principles very quickly. He's put a lot of money into it, and it's a really nice product. So yeah, I've been helping with that, working on that, and just staying busy, man. I had 2 kids, and and it's been hectic. So I'm
Nice,
looking to
man. So
relax.
you're stopping at 2?
2's good. Yeah, my wife turns 40 next week. I'm 36, and I think that's that's a good
little
number.
cougar action there.
Yeah, exactly
No,
right.
I don't think she's a cougar yet.
It's
Mountain lion.
Puma, mountain lion. No, not
She's a
quite,
mountain
not
lion.
that,
She's
not
a
quite
cougar
there.
yet. Cougar would be 60.
Yeah,
She's a mountain lion.
she's young, man. She's
Yeah,
young
yeah,
and
she's
fun. We met at Burning Man, and
Yeah.
she's got a good spirit, and it's a blessing to have kids, and just been keeping busy, man.
All right.
Very
Thanks for
busy.
coming on, man. That was sick.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for watching,
Yeah,
guys.
Nice to meet you, man.
And I'll see you next time.
Thanks, brother.
Peace.